Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Roleplay Central. This week, we're going to be doing what we said last time and review the DMG, which I have right here.
Yep, we have
DMGs. Yep. And going to be more of like a discussion / review type of a thing. John has not read it at all, except for like the quick glance at it that he had while we were
making fun of the first chapter.
Yeah. So we're going to have his general first impressions.
Yeah.
First impressions of the
Yes. Tyler, you want to talk about the first chapter, or should we skip it?
Well, no, I mean, we'll all talk about it, but the first chapter was the one that I had the biggest problem with.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I guess first we'll talk about this expectation sheet. Right. And this is like a sensitivity sheet.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before about it?
Basically that it's stupid.
Anyways,
for certain people it's not stupid, but I mean, for the vast majority of people, it's easier to do other things.
Yeah.
Than what it says.
But anyways, this sheet is, they want you to come up with a safe word. They want you to okay, here, I'll just read this.
Yeah, the options are to come up with a safe word or gesture
or hold up an X, right, to pause the game. I'm going to read this. Since D&D is an improvisational game, it can go in unexpected directions. It's helpful to have an agreed on signal the players can use to communicate that a limit has been violated, allowing you to adjust quickly. The signal might be a gesture, such as crossing your hands like that. You can say stop. You can use a safe word or phrase. You can touch or lift an object, or anything else your group agrees on. Players should also feel safe to say stop and pause the game, and any of this stuff is and then the person who invokes the signal can comment on what they want adjusted, but doesn't have to explain why the content is objectionable. The signal shouldn't trigger a debate or discussion, and those are the two main things. It's like that's like the first thing that you should go to, right?
Yeah.
You don't need the safe word stuff.
Yeah, it's
right?
just take a second and say, hey, DM, I want to
if something happens that's that serious, right?
And they are not in the right place in the start.
Well, no, you need to just go into the discussion, right? It's like,
well, the thing is,
in private.
What I'm getting at is like if you're coming in looking to be the person that does that stuff constantly, then you're in the wrong game from the start. Unless the people in your group want to do that.
Yeah. Anyways, and then if that fail safe doesn't work for a player, then they can step away and call for a break.
And just leave the game.
I mean, if it's triggering you that bad, you should probably leave anyways.
Yeah, there's all the time like all kinds of YouTubers go and talk about the things that happen with games on Reddit. Like there's all kinds of Reddit stories about games going south and all there's all kinds of stuff that happens.
And then it lists
better preparation.
It lists potentially sensitive, like hard and soft limits, right? Which is like different kinds of monsters and mind control and like death and stuff like that. It's like it's like if you're
a fantasy realm.
If a monster is triggering you that bad, I think I said it before, either kill it or run away.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you
maybe,
as the DM can do like, hey, I have this and this in my game. Yeah. It's gonna be this is a possibility.
You shouldn't even have to do that.
Like this. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have to, but if it's like, a group that is exhibited that kind of emotion before,
then I think you're in the wrong group. If you're the GM and all your players are doing this stuff,
I agree. I think
unless you're the GM,
excessive,
put up with it, but
I don't know. I don't think I would be able to put up with it.
I don't think I could either.
I think if I walked into a situation and they asked me for a safe word, I think I would assume it's some kind of other situation. It's like, is this sexual stuff?
The first thing you think of with safe word is not.
Is this
not
gay stuff?
D&D.
Is this sexual stuff? Like, what did I walk into?
Excuse me.
Crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we already talked about this a lot. That's why we don't have much to talk about.
Yeah, and I mean,
geez.
My only thing is the only place that I feel like this would be,
you're playing the wrong game.
And the only place that this would make any sense is if it was totally, just random people. If you were getting a group from online,
but even then
to come together,
I would do this.
Discuss it before the game.
Yeah. Even then, Even
these are kind of this is kind of the
that's why
possible things.
Session zeros exist. Session zeros are for things like this. You explain the avenues you can go into.
I wouldn't even say session zeros are for like sensitivity stuff.
Well, you can use it for that.
Like people use it for that, but like
if you have a sensitivity, tell the DM. Just say, hey, I'm not comfortable with this kind of.
But you don't need to like. It's not something that you need the entire table to do.
Like even you as a player, just go and say, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with this and this. Is this in your game?" Like you can ask that before you even sit down at the table.
And if you don't,
you as a player,
if you're the player who doesn't want to involve themselves with that, and it's going to be in the game, don't go to the game. Find a different group.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's
that's the good thing about D&D is it's there are so many groups you'll find a group
and it's like I said,
better. Anything again, talk to the DM and say, hey, if these kinds of themes are going to come up, can you just
the last thing?
Can you just inform me so that I can maybe stop out of the room while these things are happening?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Or
end a conversation. You don't even have to,
exactly.
But that same person has to give the DM a break as well, because maybe they don't realize that these themes are going to be coming up, and they just suddenly do.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's at that bare bones communication.
You just, as that player, just say, "Hey, I'm going to step out for just a little bit."
Yeah. Or
you guys keep playing, keep going.
Yeah.
Let me know when this.
I'm sure the DM, if you ask almost any DM, aside from the ones that are super immersive and like you don't dare break their immersion, like you say, "Hey, can we take a break real quick?" And most DMs will be like, "Yeah, let's do that. We got time. We can take a break."
And if you need to talk to the DM, go up and talk to the DM.
But you don't need to do what this says. Pause the game. There's no discussion at all, and tell them what's the problem, and then they have to fix it. Right,
and
that's
what
what
the book tells you.
Thank
them for being honest and all that stuff.
And then you have to thank them for being honest.
That's literally like they told,
and then it destroys all the immersion that's happening.
Well, it's literally like literally like going back to kindergarten where you have a talking stick and you're the only one that can talk, and then everyone once you're done with the talking stick claps for you. It's like that's not how we operate in real life. That's not humanity.
No, like, sorry, you're an adult.
It's like I said. I really think if you need that, you're playing the wrong game.
Yeah. Or you just need to find a better friends to play with.
There are super like sensitive narrativist games like the Powered by the Apocalypse games, like stuff like that, like the Fate games. Like there's multiple systems that are perfect for that kind of play. There's even systems without combat whatsoever. Or you could just go to a therapist. Just don't play.
There's sort of pacifist.
Just hire a therapist.
There's even like pacifist systems where there's no violence or anything if that's triggering to you, or like stuff like that. Like there's other avenues to pursue. It's degrading to the game in general.
Like we were talking about Path of Exile. Like what happens if that kind of a person gets into a game like that and they see a spider and they jump up and scream and run, or they hold up X. Right. The spider in the game is just going to kill him.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't apply that kind of a logic to a game like this.
Yeah.
I think you're playing the wrong game for sure.
Yep.
If you need that.
Yeah. Well, I think that covers that chapter, I think, well enough.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So there's more problems.
You go ahead.
No, there's more problems. I promise this is like the most negative chapter. So anyways, it goes on to talk about players exploiting the rules, right?
Exploiting the rules.
These are problem players. They're big bad guys. They're red flags, right? And then it goes on to say there's a few points that it makes. Rules aren't physics, right? And it goes on to say that players trying to apply physics to the game are trying to exploit the rules and are a bad player, right?
What?
Right, players trying to use physics.
How does that?
And then it says it says that rules don't. It makes the basic point that rules don't imply physics, but rules literally imply physics, right? If turns work exactly the same every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you hit something with a weapon, it interacts with that object.
Yeah, if you go and say,
right.
if you hit someone without holding a shield, it bounces
exactly. off. Exactly. Rules. Every single rule, including the rules about magic, implies internal physics.
Yeah. I mean, the rules are open to interpretation all the time, but like stuff like that,
I just think that's totally backwards.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just like,
yeah.
Think of the real world situation and how this would work, and that's pretty much how it works.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's not even like you don't even have to necessarily think of it as like real world physics, like that, like. Because like people use the excuse that magic exists, so physics shouldn't matter. But it's a hard magic system, so magic works exactly the same way every single time. And magic couldn't do that if physics didn't exist.
True.
Right? Even magic couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Right. And if your players are getting creative with the physics, then that means that that's something that they're interested in. That's not necessarily that doesn't mean that they're a bad player. Like one of the games that Denver DM'd for us a long time ago. I had one of those like big mosquito creatures on my chest.
Yeah.
I think it's called a sturge or something. Anyways, it was on my chest. I wanted to run as fast as I could into the wall. Right. That was what I wanted to do. He said, no, you can't do that.
But
and I'm like, I don't interact with the wall.
If I can jump off a cliff and take fall damage per foot I fall, I can run into a wall on my own ability.
So much. Like I'm like, and that's exactly what they're talking about here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, and they even imply it in their own
run
release.
Straight at a wall, even if a surge is on my chest, if I run straight at a wall, I'm going to collide with the wall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he effectively just turned off collision in the game.
Yeah.
Or that's
You just got through the wall.
I just cut through the wall.
All of a sudden you're just a flash and you just got phased through.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
or you just run through the wall.
Yeah, I mean that kind of situation.
Human
it's like,
size hole.
all I'm saying is that is not a problem. That's not a player trying to exploit the rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
or what about fall damage?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like
exactly.
they
implies physics.
Right?
Every single rule implies
in
physics.
Every single 2014
rule.
version of D&D, they gave you a table that says here's the severity of fall damage by the feet, right? It goes up X D6 per foot falling. You know, like they even say that. So like, how would they even say that physics doesn't apply?
If I want to cast,
in that case, everyone has feather fall and no one takes fall.
And
damage.
they use the most like basic example to show like what this kind of player is. They use have you ever heard of the peasant railgun? Because turns are because turns in a round happen within the same 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Players like trolls on the internet have like, as a joke, basically said like if you line up like 1,000 peasants and you give them a spear to pass, then the rate at which that spear will get to by the end by the time it's past the person will damage. So they use that as an example, but that's like
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't see how that situation wouldn't be logistically possible, even if you're assuming physics. Because you have to get thousands of NPCs to line up. You have to probably, right? You have to hope that none of them die, or
Or people aren't just like, I took the money because it's money.
It's just not logistically possible.
Yeah, not everyone's gonna have the same.
The
same.
Not to mention, by the time it gets to a certain, like the would be moving too fast.
Yeah.
They use the peasant railgun, but they use it in a.
Yeah.
Anyways, the one other thing that there's two more things. So the game is not an economy. Because it basically says that a player trying to gain wealth is exploiting the game, right? And it's
what? Which is the complete opposite of what a Bastion does for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The player is
in the same book they say, or not the same book, but like, hey,
the player is engaging with the economy in your game. It probably that's something they're interested in, and maybe you should engage that. Maybe you should actually like engage the game with it.
Well, and what if your players
are playing a game? Maybe that's like too much of a novel idea to actually play a game.
Well, and what if the campaign that they're running is more of a political campaign, and it's more, hey, let's see how we can exploit this, and this, or these countries or these people, and get all this, and build our own faction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly. I just think like these, and then there's one other thing. This is another kind of problem. Right? Combat is for enemies.
What?
Some rules only, I'm just going to read you this section. Some rules only apply during combat or while a character is. Don't let players attack each other or helpless creatures. Activate those. Don't let your players attack each other.
So they want to restrict the gameplay.
Yeah. Don't let your murder level character who actually likes that kind of gameplay. Like they make such a big deal in the first chapter about this.
Hey Tyler, I think did you mute your mic?
Oh, there we go. Okay. But yeah, the game makes such a big deal in this thing about how the game is supposed to be fun, and it's like that's the main objective of the game is to be fun.
So we want our DMs to
but not for the murder hobos, right? Or not for any player that wants to take individual action against each other. Yeah, right. I just think that's ridiculous.
Why can't I punch?
You guys literally engage in PvP every single. I mentioned this earlier. Every time I DM for you two, you guys end up fighting each other. And that's not a problem with the game.
No, it's just an inherent part of the game. It's an option, so you can use it.
No, the game literally started as a war game, right? It's literally like born from a war game.
And you have these two people who are just butting heads all the freaking time.
Yeah,
and you're just like, hey. Find out. And let's see what happens.
In the game, if your characters would actually be pissed off at each other and you want to go fist fight each other,
let players fight each other if they want. Like there's rules there for it.
What if somebody
there wouldn't be combat rules?
Something really stupid that another party member doesn't like.
Yeah,
and they're just like, what the?
Maybe one party member gets
them up because
maybe one party member gets another one killed and they're like, I hate you for this, we're gonna fight, like something like that.
It's ridiculous. You can't act on your own. You can't make your own decisions because the DM can't. The DM's supposed to not allow you to.
Yeah, it's turning it into more of a sunshine and rainbows style of gameplay rather than the legit wargaming
well, and
not gruesome. That's the wrong word. Like gritty style thing.
To be rainbows and butterflies, and that's how you're how your players are playing it.
Yeah, but if one of those rainbow characters decides they want to shoot the other,
maybe they snap. Maybe they just decide.
Now all of a sudden it's the rainbow level on Diablo. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, all of us are murdering each other.
Maybe one of your players just they snap. And they just start attacking everybody. Who knows?
But anyways, that's all. I mean, That's literally all of my problems with the first chapter.
Just everything in this first chapter.
I just no. I mean, I would honestly if you don't want to deal with the woke stuff, I would rip
Just
out
skip it.
pages 13 to 19. Just tear them out.
Yeah,
It's
like,
it's
well,
yeah.
it's just a thing. It's just a thing that's kind of like
ridiculous.
it feels like to me they put this at the beginning because it's like, sure, we want this, but like it's just filler.
Yeah, they put it at the beginning to scare off players like me.
Yeah,
or DMs like me.
Like, hey guys, we're going in we're going in this direction.
Or like you. I don't know. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I mean,
I wouldn't.
stupid.
Yeah.
All I can say is just like the movie industry and
But-
Disney and Marvel and all that stuff. If they keep going down this path,
Yeah.
it's not going to look good for them.
Mhm.
It's not. It doesn't. It clearly
Yeah.
doesn't work. People don't respond well to it.
Uh-huh.
It's not working.
So I mean, I'm not even going to
Uh-huh.
bring up. Not even going to bring up politics in the U.S. But like that.
Uh-huh.
That's even another thing. But like
Uh-huh.
overall, if they keep going down a path like this, they're just going to lose more people playing this.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to move over to
Yeah.
the next big thing, whether that's Shadow Dark or
Yeah.
Draw Steel or something
Uh-huh.
like that.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you
Um,
more people move over to Draw Steel and stuff because of this already.
Uh-huh.
Like-
Well, I think you'll see for sure a lot of like the players who liked 4th edition are gonna go to Draw Steel.
Yeah.
Right. The players who like more the more gamist side of the hobby, you know, as opposed to like the storytellers and the simulationists.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I promise that's the most negative thing that I have
Okay.
about the entire book. It's like, geez.
All right.
It's
Well,
like-
it's just
well,
like,
let's-
Yeah. Chapter 2.
it's just like, look, hey, nothing against you if you're sensitive to certain
know.
topics. Just discuss it with your DM.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Make sure it's not going to be part of the game.
Yeah.
Because if it is, maybe they're not the group for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing against it. Just
Exactly.
discuss it with your DM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it lists all that stuff right after it lists all that stuff about exploitative players right after it talks about antisocial characters. So like it's trying to like rope those two into the same little section. It's like that's
What's
not
wrong with
Trying
antisocial.
to
That's
encapsulate
not
everything into one
antisocial
thing.
behavior.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Yeah.
wrong with an antisocial character?
Yeah, some characters are antisocial.
People
Maybe-
run evil campaigns. You're an antisocial
Well,
character
you
if
don't,
you're
you
evil.
don't even have
Like
to
just by
necessarily-
nature.
Well, and you don't
Or
even
maybe
have to
you're not.
necessarily
I guess
be
maybe you're
evil
not,
to
but-
be antisocial. You could be a really
You
good
be an evil
paladin,
charismatic
Uh-huh.
character, I guess.
Yeah.
you know, who's lawful good, but
Yeah.
Like the Joker is kind of charismatic.
I mean,
maybe they just don't
yeah.
interact with people in the game.
Maybe
Simple as that. You know, I mean,
here's an idea I just had. You're the DM, and you tell each player secretively, like away from the other players, that they're playing a psychopath. Right? You're literally a psychopath.
Your job is
But
to
you're
be crazy.
Yeah, but you tell that to every single player, so they all think that the other ones don't know that they're a psycho.
but they're all psycho.
They're just
It's just a group of
they're just
psychopaths.
a team of
And
serial.
the
they're-
goal is to
yeah.
go do a simple
Yeah.
mission. A
they're-
simple
yeah, no.
a simple bank
They're a team
robbery or
of like
something.
serial killers, and so like
you got all these people.
every town they go to, there's like a blood trail, and then there's like investigators from the local city looking for him. And they all think that the investigators are looking for them. That would be funny.
Yeah, that would be.
And
Hilarious.
you text them away from game, asking about their kills and stuff that they're doing behind the back of the other ones. You know what I mean? That would just be so fun.
That would be great.
So you run all that stuff behind the scenes.
Maybe maybe it's just a group of assassins who don't know that everybody else is also an assassin.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
and
if
they're
you're
each hired to
following-
kill someone different. in
If
the
you're
party.
following
Like-
these kind of rules, though, you
No,
can't
they
do
just
that stuff.
like
It's-
every town they go to, they get a new hit,
Yeah.
and they have to kill this person before they leave town,
Uh-huh.
and that's for each person in the group.
it would be
And,
funny.
it's like
But
the,
they don't
it's like
know
the- yeah.
that they're all assassins.
it's also-
going after all these.
it's like
different
it's like the Hitman game. So they all have to kill the same person, but they have to kill him in a different way. Right? It's like the Hitman video game. So like
you have to crown this guy.
yeah. You have to drown him. The other person has to murder him in bed. The other person has to drop a statue on him. You know. I don't know, but I mean, those rules don't allow for play like that.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's limiting creativity too.
Yeah.
Because
It really is. Yeah.
Because when you have to inflict all these rules on something in terms of how people act and everything,
It breaks immersion.
Yeah, that breaks it more than us stopping the game.
And
literally making so that every other word the DM thinks about sometimes is like, oh, I can't say that. Oh,
yeah.
How's this gonna feel if I say this? You know, like that's no way to play a game. This. But anyway, let's get into the next chapter.
Yeah.
So running the game.
The thumbnail to this video is just say no to chapter 1. Just like
I'm gonna do that.
Chapter 1.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
chapter 1 and just an X.
Like
Just Photoshop a guy that's doing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, do that. Get on the AI and make somebody doing that.
Yeah.
That would be so funny. Luckily, the rest of the book isn't that woke.
So I'm gonna say I didn't note down things by chapter, so I have no idea where my notes are.
I didn't either.
But
all I did was put markers where like the negative things are and where the positive things are.
But a negative.
No, it's not.
I'm just saying if it's color coded.
There's more positive than negative.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, I think this was
most of the negative is small. Most of the negative are small things. So running the game, yeah, I mean, this is all just like pretty solid advice.
Let me see. I think I had a point in here that was talking about it.
Yeah. So I mean,
maybe it's not in this chapter.
I like what it goes through here, right? Like it talks about the different archetypes of players, right? Right, different kinds of players and how to play with them, except for the exploitative players. You don't play with them. You don't play with them. They're not included.
One cool thing though is like,
but I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this chapter. I mean, just about how to run with different kinds of players, how to run with multiple DMs.
Well, like this is good. Like this is already what you'd put on a DM screen for the most part in certain areas of this chapter, like difficulty class and like. Like it says, group checks, how you figure out stuff for each different type of group.
Yeah,
and
resolving outcomes.
Critical success and failure, degrees of success, damage severity by level, all that stuff's right here within the first few pages.
Yeah.
And that normally is what people will put on a DM screen. And like you just have it all in one place, which is I do like how they detail out using maps and not just theater of the mind. Type of a thing here too, because that really helps me. In playing miniatures and terrain like you see on the table, like helps so much.
And there is there's advice on running travel, which is a huge plus from the 2014 one, right? If though you're looking for like a more in-depth travel system, that book that we looked at, Uncharted Journeys by Cubicle 7 Entertainment.
Hey, didn't we do that on an episode?
We did a review of that.
Yeah.
But that book is a way more more extensive version of a travel system, and it works with 5e. So
I do like how this is like
this is a good starter. This is like a starter version of that. And then, like once you mastered this, you could get that book, and you could expand it even more.
Yep. But I don't know if this is part of this chapter.
I mean, it's pretty bare bones, but it's good enough to get you started on travel.
Is the whole thing of like what type of DM you are? Is that this chapter?
Yeah.
Like
chapter 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something also very, very cool is how they detailed out how you can figure out what style you're into. Like it details out like what a narrative DM is like. What it's kind of self-explanatory by its name, but like you sometimes don't know what your DM style is. Like just by how we do it, it's like taking turns DMing. It kind of takes a while to figure out how you DM. So getting a little snippet about different styles of DMing is
Find your own.
Yeah.
Find your own stuff.
Unlike wizards, we're not going to restrict you.
Safe word is my safe word.
Oh, this one too. Keeping combat moving.
Yeah.
Also is huge. They didn't. I swear they didn't put that in the other one.
I don't remember.
And this one, this is a huge point because I can't tell you how many people I hear on the internet, from all over the place, say the biggest thing they don't like about combat is how long it takes. So like the fact that you like, there's different ways to keep combat moving. Like you can say people are on deck. You do all kinds of different stuff. It's not just like, okay, well, my turn's over. Now I got to sit here and do nothing for 5 minutes. It's like you can do stuff to help people, stay in the game and run things quick.
Or as the player, you just pay attention to when it's your turn.
Yeah. Yep. Just that's what they should say right there. Just pay attention.
I go after this guy, so I better figure out what I'm going to do beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of relying on the DM because the DM's got all these other things that are going on.
Well, like this is specifically for like the DM for keeping combat going. So they're talking like adding combatants and like what's most like don't repeat the stuff that's happened all the time. So like maybe if it's on someone's turn and they ask what happened, then you can recap real quick. But like don't do that all the time.
I wouldn't.
Like
there's a lot of solid advice in chapter 2 for sure.
And even like the haste, like this one, hasten a monster's demise. If things are going too long, just like not fudge the rolls, but kind of like that. Like, okay, well, you've dealt 3/4 of the damage that you need to deal. It's close enough. It's just dead. Like,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Like this. Like here's how they put it. I'll read it right here. So, if combat has gone on long enough and the character's victory is almost certain, you can simply have the monster drop dead. The players don't ever need to know that it still had 15 hit points left after the character's last attack.
That I wouldn't do. I mean, I'm against like fudging stuff like that. So, like, if the monster's got this many hit points, you're gonna deal that.
I'm okay with.
You're gonna have to,
to an extent.
Yeah.
Well, like that's.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're all
we're
all pretty different on this. I'm like against it like entirely.
This is just a time management tool. If you're not into it, then it's like not a big deal. But like for me, when things last a long time, that's something I'd use. Potentially. You have any other things to say about this chapter?
No, I mean, like I said, chapter 2 is just got a lot of really solid stuff, I think. Just advice on how to actually like run it at the table. I mean, to be honest, that should have been chapter 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At the beginning of the next chapter is the thing that I don't even use. Yeah, the toolbox. They mention alignment. I don't ever use it. I wonder why that's still a thing.
They do clarify that it should be descriptive, not prescriptive, which is how most people used it before.
Yeah.
Right. They clarify that, which is nice. Right. So like it's not the player says I'm this alignment, right? And then it becomes this awkward thing.
Therefore they act that way.
Well, no. They don't act that way. You know what I mean? Like they say that's their alignment, but then yeah, exactly. Like
I mean, in my opinion, I think it plays a bigger role in like
I think it should be like I think it should be like a reputation kind of a thing, like Fallout 3 reputation system.
Yeah. And I'm cool with it being.
But yeah, I do think on the paladin thing, I think paladins should have to be lawful.
If you're I don't know.
At the baseline, lawful.
Depends on your god.
No, because they have the list of like commandments that they have to obey. So I think at the baseline,
the one that has the versatility, I think is cleric for what you're saying, because there's so many different worship.
My thing is, if you're a paladin and you're saying, "Oh, I'm lawful good," but then you turn lawful evil somehow. You're acting
that's what Oathbreaker Paladin will be.
You probably aren't going to have the blessings from your your god,
exactly,
and then you're not going to be able to cast spells.
Exactly, and there should be consequences. If you like, especially for paladins, cleric.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel? How do you guys feel about like linking alignment to items, like having to be a certain alignment to use an item?
I think that
I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, I think
it's like that one. Yeah. It's like that one weapon.
They got rid of it. They got rid of all that.
Mm-hmm.
In this book. Yeah, that's one of the only things that I don't like about the items now. Is like they got rid of like the restrictions on them.
Seems weird.
But yeah, I think it should matter for certain classes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I mean that's mostly like for clerics. I think that they should have to be like at least the alignment of whatever deity they're worshiping. You know what I mean?
Another cool thing in this that I forgot to write down, but this is cool. Like the running a chase and also splitting a group. Like those two things weren't detailed before, and they're super helpful.
that was one of the negative things I was going to talk about was the chases.
Well, what do you find negative about it?
The entire like bulk of stuff here in the chases page can be boiled down to make up a story. It's just telling the DM to make it up. It's not actually giving you any systems to actually do it. They give you a couple tables on the next page to create like complications.
Yeah, and escape factors.
But it basically boils down to DM. Your players are doing a chase, so make it up.
Yeah, there should be more, like you're saying, more like if there were more tables involved, like if there was like things you can put in the way or like other stuff. Like
this whole thing should be systematized if they're going to do it this way, but they could have just gone back to like the 4th edition. I think they're called skill challenge rules, right? This would be a perfect thing to put skill challenges back in the game.
So this would actually also fit in the area where you said that what's missing is the dungeon creating stuff. That would also help. This would be a good thing to put into that.
I think
making a dungeon sometimes involves a chase.
There should be more here. Like if they're going to cover chases at all, they need to at least like give you some systems on how to like generate one.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't give you any generation tools. They just tell you to make it up.
Right.
And that's the problem I have with the chases section.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a lot about it. They spent 2.5 pages on describing how to do a chase without actually doing a lot. Mm-hmm. But I still thought it did an okay. Like I'm into doing the whole making things up. That's probably why I like it. But if you're more mechanical in nature, like or whatever, like want more mechanics focused on that type of a thing, like you do, then I guess it's not as important or cool to you.
No. What was the other part you said though? You were talking about chases and another
chases and the splitting up a party. Like it, like no one tells you what to do when someone has to go for extended work trips or like this and that, and you want to keep the character involved like somehow or narratively, navigate them away. It doesn't tell you how to do that.
There aren't
in the 2014 version.
To tell you how. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there are old school rules.
Yeah, and this is only a paragraph. It's not that long, not that much. Yeah. It's just nice that they put some in there to let people know. It's because like I've had that sometimes, like in games I've been in before. There's people that have to, or if you are running 2 characters at once and one you want to just go into one, and you have to tell the other one something has to happen to the other one. You have to figure that out. Then this is a good way to figure that out. Let's see. So in the rest of the chapter, do you have anything?
See. Yeah. So I mean, in general, there's a lot of really useful stuff in this chapter, right? There's a lot of useful lists. I think the lists are the most useful thing in this. Like there's a list of poisons, there's a list of curses, there's a list of siege equipment, there's a list of all this stuff, right? There's a list of boons. There's a list of all kinds of stuff, and it gives you all these lists. They're detailed. They tell you there's a thing describing how to build a trap, right? And there's a list of traps.
Yeah, that's one thing I wrote down.
There's a lot of good lists. In this chapter? A lot of really good lists.
Yeah, it was. I really like the traps. It was. It's super detailed, and like it makes trap creation a lot easier.
Yeah.
I had trouble with.
And there's detailed rules on how to run a mob, right? So if you're fighting a giant group of people, right, there's rules for it here, right, which is great.
And I also wrote down that they had curses, hazards, and poisons for quick reference.
Yeah. And then this is probably the last most negative thing is they got rid of one of the most useful parts of the 2014 book was the dungeon generation. Dungeon generation system, and they've had dungeon generation systems in every single DMG, but in this edition, all you're given is doors and quirks. Right? Who needs a dungeon when you can have doors and quirks?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they do have pre-built dungeons in the back, but that's not the same thing, right? Yeah, you can get some use out of those, but like sometimes you need to make your own dungeon, and there's no rules for it here.
Yeah. They put more effort into telling you how doors operate and what all the stuff about doors, as opposed to how to create cool dungeons.
Like this one opens inward, and this other one opens out.
Doors. And
this
quirks.
is how much health one door has.
Quirks.
This type of door has this much health.
Yeah, my dungeon has a quirk, but it doesn't have walls.
Reminds me of XP level 3 when his chat did the Dungeon of Doors. The Dorngeon or something like that.
Yes, called it. The Wallless Dungeon. This Wallless Dungeon that's just doors has a quirk. It's abandoned because the site was cursed by a god.
Wow.
Sweet, I know so much about my dungeon now.
It's ridiculous.
So exciting.
I can totally make a map of it right now.
There's just no like they're sort of putting this book out as a replacement for the 2014. This is not like
in my opinion, honestly,
like a new DM, right, is going to buy this and then they're not going to know how to build a dungeon.
Honestly, the ideal thing is for both rules and for resource, like with the books, is to take a little bit of both. Because there's still things from 2014 I'd rather have rules wise in terms of import them over to 2024 D&D, no matter how hard that is.
I'm still going to be using
like Palette, like 2014. The freaking smite change. I hate it. I'd have the 2014 version. Like for Palette, it just doesn't.
What I did for my version of the Paladin is I actually looped all of the smite spells, right, are now part of the smite feature. So like there are things that like if you go to smite something, you can instead do one of the spell effects. Right.
That's a good idea.
So like they're all looped into the smite feature.
Cool.
They're locked by level, so you still can't access the most powerful ones at the early level. Right.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and then let's
see, do I have anything else?
Yeah.
I think this is the one with the NPC name generator too, right?
Yeah, they do focus a little bit on NPCs on one of the page.
Well, like
NPC
I was just gonna say
is 85.
I was just gonna say I don't know. I didn't look before this. I don't know if 2014 had a name generator. The fact that this does helps.
Xanathar's has a pretty huge one, but not the DMG, I don't think.
Yeah, but like that's awesome. Whenever they can give you that stuff right off the bat in one book.
Yeah.
Like, love it.
The only bad thing about the NPCs thing is that the size of this NPC tracker. Can they see this? Size of the NPC tracker.
Well, you can see a little bit of it.
Yeah.
See it?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's an entire page for one NPC.
Yeah.
I just think that's way too much.
Like you said before a while ago, I don't think anyone's going to use
the
it.
tracker?
The only thing I'll ever use of those pages in there is really like maybe the planner. That's about it. Like the session planner. That's probably literally
some of these sheets are just blank lined paper. In like chapter 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of the sheets are just blank lined paper. So like just use one of your notebooks.
Well, and I feel like that's kind of like that's kind of wasted space. Just like think of all the things we brought up so far. Yeah. It could have been detailed in those couple of pages, you know? Like anything about detailing out dungeons could be done in 3 pages. Anything about like
But yeah, I mean, I could probably do. I mean, with the way that I come up with NPCs, I could probably do like 8 or 10 on one piece of paper.
Yeah, it's for me, it's super quick. It's just like a name, like that's why I like those oh, what are they called? Those little cards. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Deck of stories, I think it's called. I think
so.
Those little cards that have little.
What are they called? I forget. You have one, right?
This one?
Yeah. This whole series of books is good, right?
Yep. The Game Masters books.
Yeah. Jeff Ass. Oh, Ashford.
Yeah.
Sounds a little bit better.
I think you can find it if you type in Game Masters book series. I think it's that comes up.
Yeah,
and there's like 6 or 7 of them. And then there's one for combat. There's one for encounters. One for NPCs.
Another really good NPC generator is called Une, and that's UNE, and it's on DriveThruRPG. And on like 2 pages of tables, you have thousands of different permutations of NPCs that you can generate, and it's like little 2-word prompts. Like this is the NPC. This is like what they do. This is a little descriptor, and then this is their motivation. Right, that's all it gives you. But still, that's and then there's a little table with like comparative power levels, so you can tell like if the NPC is less or more powerful than the party, right? So like that's really like baseline all you need, and then you can add to that. But I mean, you don't need an entire page for one NPC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this chapter is one of the bigger ones. I think, book.
Yeah, chapter 3.
Yeah.
So
the next one is talking about creating adventures, which is very helpful too.
There's a lot of really useful stuff in here.
So why wouldn't they put like dungeon creation in an adventure chapter?
I don't know if they.
That just seems like
one good thing that they did with this chapter is they sort of fixed the XP budget for CR.
Yeah, situation. That's something I wanted to list. It's like, well, they did. Well, yeah, they just made it more clear.
They made it more. They made it more comprehensible.
Yeah, they made it more self-explanatory that you take the XP, then you buy stuff with it.
Yeah,
it that wasn't more exactly like.
It wasn't. It wasn't that way in the last one.
Yeah,
right. You had to do a more complicated thing, and then
calculating freaking CR is insane. Like, a lot of people I've heard hate CR. Like the guy I was watching one today, just listening about a person's opinion on the DMG, and it was Pointy Hat. That's the name of the channel, and he's like, I despise CR, and I'm like, I agree, because it's too hard to even factor in, and none of it works because you say you go for a level 9 encounter, you take a level 9 thing. You put it in your party, and then they just kill it instantly.
Yeah,
or it kills them.
Well, that's not doing any math at all.
Yeah, but
hopefully you're doing some math.
Yeah, but it should be more straightforward. It should be like, okay, with this, you should also think about putting this and this with it, or you should power this down or something. Like with all the maybe that's coming in the monster manual. If that's in the monster manual, that'd be awesome. But I doubt it. I doubt it's coming.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, there's a lot of solid stuff in there about creating an adventure.
Yeah, this
running one.
The fact that you have a full
And then I think it gives you
a whole chapter on learning how to create,
it gives
do
you
all the ins and outs of creating an adventure.
Yeah, it gives you 4 example adventures that are pretty like basic.
Yep.
Right. It just gives you a list of encounters basically, and like some context. Then it goes into campaign creation in the next chapter.
Yep, and then we start talking about Greyhawk and stuff.
Yeah, it talks about campaigns, and then it goes into Greyhawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the Greyhawk part and the next chapter, the cosmology part, I think are really nice. This book gives you really like way more detailed setting information in general, right? With the cosmology, so each of the planes has like multiple layers explained, right?
Yep.
Not to mention the Greyhawk thing, like you get pages and pages and pages of information.
Yeah, now you feel like you actually do have a blank slate to build on.
Yeah, I mean, Greyhawk is cool. And they give you a map.
Yeah.
The map's pretty cool.
Free map in the back.
They describe all the locations, you know what I mean? They give you basic information about everything else.
Yeah, and that's where you get to meet all the original people that they've made books on.
I mean, something that I didn't even know when you get to the cosmology chapter is that most of the planes have multiple layers, right? And that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? You could
layer 222. This line.
Oh yeah, the Abyss has a lot of layers.
Yeah. It's like an onion, like they say in Shrek.
Yes. He's really a demon. He's from the onion layer. There's a layer of hell that's just root vegetables. It's
things that can be layered.
There's a casserole layer. That would be so fun. If you were running an adventure in hell, I would just have that so much fun with the different layers. Yeah.
You can possibly, can't you understand the what's that last one they just put out, that adventure? The one in the Nine Hells. Called
Chains of Asmodeus?
Yeah. Like, can't you understand that better now with this clarification?
There's more context for sure. Yeah.
All right, and then we move on to
Treasure.
Yep. This one I had some stuff to talk about.
I like all the new tables.
Yeah.
New loot tables for everything.
Yeah. One thing I'm super happy about that we haven't had in the last one is labeled costs for magic items. Because you don't get that. Like, it was so hard to find like how much something should cost in D&D. Like, because you don't want to just make something up and it's, you know, you say it's 12,000 gold when it's a common magic item, you know, like it's kind of hard to do, but they detail out how much things should cost. And and like art for everything almost. Well, not everything, but like majority, a lot of the magic items included in here have art now, which is, so you can put a picture and a price to things. I love it.
Yeah. There's a magic item creation now, which is basically just spend enough time and money to make the item. I do like how
they've leaned into more of they want you to create stuff more. Because with the last version, it was awful like here's how things are structured. Now it's like, here, you can create things. And if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do think I think it's nice that they put in a creation system for all this stuff, but I think it's a little lazy.
Yeah, it is kind of, but it's also opening the door to the new players getting involved in creating things by like getting more people involved in creating stuff. I can never knock them. We need more of it.
But yeah, and then they did what we said before. They got rid of alignment restrictions on items, which I don't agree with. I mean, I want more restrictions. I want items specific to different classes. I want items specific to different alignments, different races, because that would be cool to like seek out that kind of that loot. Because I am this, I get this special thing that I can see, that I can look for and engage with. And then there's tons of tables.
Yeah, but you get pages like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the thing.
A lot of
but
art.
Like pages like this where it's just half of its art.
Yeah.
I'm like,
great.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and
that one's huge. That chapter.
Yeah, they did put another good thing. They did put the they wrote the I don't know what the right word is, but the artifacts in with the regular items. Dude, like before it listed items, and then right after that it listed artifacts, but now the artifacts are just in with the rest of the items.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a layout improvement, I think. And better layout.
Yep. Well, chapter 8 now. Bastions. I kind of like, kind of hate the way they made the bastions. Don't like how they restricted them too much. They can do, I think. And like the whole restriction of you can't have like people control your bastion is kind of dumb, in my opinion. Like you can't like set somebody as an admin essentially and have them control your bastion is kind of I don't know if I like that. Whereas you have to make a group bastion to be able to do that.
So the notes that I have is first I just said why level 5. So like you just arbitrarily get one at level 5, right? If you're engaging with this thing, you just get one at level 5. Where did you get the land? What did how did
it should be a whole process. You should earn the best.
How did this happen? Right? How do I have one now? Right? And how is it miraculously growing as I level?
Yeah, the whole thing should be earning a bastion and setting up an actual.
Is this bastion actually a mimic? You know what I mean?
That'd be a lot.
Like, it's just like, where did the money and resources come from? Right? Where did the land come from? Did you steal it? Did you inherit it? Did you buy it? Right?
Like where in the middle of nowhere somehow?
You know what I mean? Like why are local like there's no guidance here about reaction rolls for local for other local leaders, right? Mm-hmm. Like a king in the area is probably going to be offended that somebody built this huge castle right in the middle of somebody else
of his city,
of one of his like knights' land. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're hiring NPCs and they're not paying taxes. Like they're probably like there's going to be some kind of reaction and there's no guidance for it.
Yeah. And I have some other things about bastions that I don't like as much. Like the whole like creating magic items thing, I think is a little too strict too. Like you can, it's severely limited to what you can create. I think as long as you have the resources to do it, like you should be able to create it with your bastion and save all the time. Because like I think that should be how a bastion operates. It's essentially a vending machine for magic items. You put in what you have, all the resources.
we're different.
You get a magic item.
We're very different. We're very different. Yeah, and then I have so here, let me just read this. Each special facility in a bastion generates enough income to pay the salary of the hirelings. Hirelings follow orders they're given and are loyal to the bastion's owner. Listen to that though. So like you don't actually have to do anything, right? It just runs itself. It's self-sustaining. You don't have to pay them. It makes money itself. How? Nobody knows. It just makes money.
It's just
money.
assumed.
Just like there's a treasury room.
Money
in there.
literally grows on trees there.
There's a treasury room in there, and there's another room where they just keep pregnant women. Right? It's like it's completely self. That's the thing. It's completely self-sustained, and
at the top.
Oh
yeah,
there we go.
It should not be completely self-sustained, is what I'm saying. Right? Like and then they are loyal to the Bastion's owner. So literally, like that can't change. What do you mean they are loyal?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe you have a double agent.
Has a gripe with the Bastion
you know what I mean?
owner?
Yeah, maybe you have a double agent. Maybe one of them's underpaid. You know what I mean? Like they are loyal, and they're just. So first of all, they spawned when the Bastion spawned. Second of all, they're just getting paid. They just make money.
They're happy with
it. They just make money.
It's like that old roller coaster tycoon game. You just set a roller coaster down, and all of a sudden people just come into your park just out of nowhere off the side of the side of the map.
Yeah. No, I just think that's ridiculous. That shouldn't be like. I'm not saying like you should have to get into the nickels and dimes of everything, but like
it would make it more.
But like that,
more.
It hand waves too much. Is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
So. I want to go back to what I said, how we differ on our opinion of the Bastion. Like, I think the magic item thing should be more open. Like, if you have the resources to make a magic item, it should be used as a reduction in time device to get your magic item quicker. As opposed to having to spend X amount of days solely devoting your time to creating this magic item and not doing anything else than comparing the adventure and all. Like, I get it's supposed to be a downtime activity, but like, I think it'd be cool to just be able to have a resource to just go and get the magic item. You've been doing the work to get the resources, so like, it should be a time saving device.
This, you don't have to do that though. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, but they're just still limiting it.
You just use the time and the money, and it just happens over time.
Yeah.
Right, and that to me just like that doesn't work.
It.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Right, you shouldn't be able to make a magic item that easy. It's too easy. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Right. Like farmers wouldn't be farming; they would be building secret tunnels, and every night instead of sleeping, right, they would take shifts creating magic items to actually sell and make more money. You know what I mean? There would be an entire underground system, black market system of magic item creation if it was just time and money. That's it.
No, they'd be investing all their time into building constructs to farm land for them.
Yeah, it's like if it's just time and money, then it's pointless.
Yeah,
I think you should have to go kill the monster for the treasure.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like go and kill the monster. For
the monster has the treasure, not the Bastion. Go kill the monster and take the treasure.
Okay.
I think a lot of items should be that way. But if it's just like a simple +2.
Yeah. I mean, basic one, stuff.
You know.
Basic stuff. Like +2, +1. Yeah. For sure. But like if it's like a Vorpal sword.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where they describe that stuff.
Or the king killing arrow or whatever, the Kingslayer arrow.
Or if it had like basic enchantments, I mean, like if
arrow of slaying.
If it were to deal like some fire damage or some, other elemental damage, I don't think it would be too terrible thing to just have
that section.
But I think that you should have to at least get some kind of special ingredient.
Yeah.
To do that, you know what I mean? Like. There should be a system where you get like a schematic or like a plan for an item, and then you have to get like a secret ingredient. You have to get like the thing that you need, like the special ingredient that you need to create the item.
Yeah.
Then you spend the time and the money with the item.
Right.
But there should be a system for that. But
That's what I'm talking about. Is getting the specific stuff and then taking
that's a whole nother book though,
to reduce the time it takes to do the magic.
Right. That's an entire other book that needs to be written.
Right.
That's not what this does.
Right. That's why I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I wish it was that way.
Yeah, you need an entire book for that,
at the very least.
But yeah, but not for the like unless you're hiring some pretty powerful guys. I don't think the other people would be able to do it. Mm-hmm. Like some random hireling named Jeff. You know what I mean? He's sitting there pumping out magic items. He doesn't know anything about magic items. He was just spawned in the other room the other day, right? He
just got his name yesterday.
He doesn't know anything. He's just Jeff.
Yeah,
and he has a Mexican accent because I'm the DM was freakingly lazy that day or something. You know what I mean? You know, it's like he was just spawned the other day. He doesn't know how to make a magic sword.
Yeah. No, I think you should have to hire
like specialists. I think specialists. If you want other people to make items for you, you know,
I think would make more sense if you had to hire on specialists. They're from another town. You know.
Yeah, I think Bastion's like they're finally taking a step towards the thing I want in D&D is like an easier way to make like business and stuff in general. Like that's like I thought you could use the Bastion for that, but it's really you have to do a lot to change it to make it work that way.
You can use strongholds and followers for that.
Yeah. And I guess that's
MCDM's book. You can use strongholds and followers for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this is not as detailed as I was hoping it would
be. For building a business and all kinds of bastions, and it includes all that stuff, and it actually makes sense in that book.
Yeah,
right.
And then we get to the last chapter. I guess not really a chapter. It's just the lore glossary.
I have more.
Okay,
you can go.
Let's hear it.
So, bastion events. So, if a bastion event occurs, right? First, you roll on. So you know that a bastion event is occurring, but then you roll on a table, and there's a 50% chance that a bastion event isn't occurring.
Are you counteracting yourself?
Right.
Hold on. Wait
Are you sure you know what you're doing, dude?
The event is resolved immediately. Right. It doesn't take any time. No fuss. No muss. Bastion events occur only when a bastion is operating under the maintain order. And I just have why there. Because like a bastion, an event should be able to happen at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it should be a random encounter. It shouldn't be a thing that only triggers when you take this action.
Right.
And then this is the last thing about bastions. So if you roll attack on the bastion events table, which you have like a few % chance to get. So like your bastion is barely ever attacked, a hostile force attacks your bastion, but is defeated. Right? It's just automatically defeated. Right? Your bastion is it's attacked, but the attack is automatically defeated. Roll 66, and for each die roll it's a 1. One bastion defender dies. And this is like, as far as I can tell, I don't know where it lists how many bastion defenders you have. I guess they just spawn too.
Do you have to buy them maybe?
It doesn't say. As far as I can tell, maybe I'm probably just missing it.
Yeah.
But as far as I can tell, it doesn't say how you get them or how many you have. Right? And then a special if the bastion has 0 bastion defenders, one of the bastion's special facilities is damaged and forced to shut down. And then here's the next thing. A special facility that shuts down can't be used on your next bastion turn, after which it is repaired and made operational to you again at no cost to you. So it doesn't cost anything to fix it. More people just spawn in. Right?
Are we?
I just underlined and said insurance. It's like, do you have an insurance policy?
Like, are we just playing a video game where everyone just respawns?
Yeah, you're not actually paying for this insurance policy, but you have one. So now
free insurance
policies exist in D&D.
Yeah, free real
You're not
estate,
supposed to engage with the economy in D&D.
You get free real estate and free insurance.
Yeah.
Free people work for you.
No, my
slaves. Basically,
my whole problem with this chapter is it just hand waves way too much.
Yeah, you don't work for hardly.
It just happens.
It just happens. You just win. Your Bastion defenders are just better than the entire orc army that just stack your Bastion. It's like.
With catapults and everything, like the battle of whatever it is.
Not only that,
defenders,
not only that,
500 orcs.
Not only that,
Good
it was defeated immediately. So your team just nuked them. It's like
makes sense.
And I did it all with 4 guys.
There was no siege.
Woohoo!
There was no like attack. They attacked and they got nuked.
It should be like, hey, the DM's just like. It's like in StarCraft where they say your base is under attack. Your base is under attack. That's what the DM should be saying to the person. Like, hey, your base is under attack. By the way. Meanwhile, you're rolling.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. It's not. Sorry, false alarm.
Now there's a crater outside. Nobody knows what happened.
How'd this get here? Oh, that was the entire orc army. They all just stood in a circle and just took it.
The portals open
for some weird reason. They all just
multiple portals open and orcs start to like pile through. A nuke goes off. Everybody just runs back through the portals.
It was the weirdest thing. They all just bunched up into one big ball.
Yeah,
and then there was an explosion, and they were gone.
This is ridiculous.
It was weird.
I'm sorry, that's the last thing.
I mean, bastions are a cool concept. I just think they needed more detailing.
I think if you're buying this for bastions, don't buy it by Strongholds and Followers.
Yeah,
from MCDM.
I'm gonna look into that because I've wanted to.
It's just a better system, and then if you want to turn those strongholds into like generating armies and stuff like that, get Kingdoms and Warfare by the same company.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Was because
those 2 books.
Because I was looking based on the video that we watched a while ago.
Then you
for an
can
episode.
fight off the orc army.
Yeah, based on the video when we watched the video for this book a while ago on the podcast. I was hoping that bastions were going to be a thing you could mess with and turn into whatever you wanted to, but it doesn't like because I wanted to turn them into like, remember when we mentioned like mortal engines and like big cities that you can move and everything like that? You can't really do that.
Instead, it reminds me of the Skyrim house that you can build.
Mm-hmm.
The Skyrim house that you can
build. And I think you mentioned that in the same episode.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like you can build this house, but in that thing you have to fight off monsters. In Skyrim, it doesn't just happen. Sometimes you show up and there's a giant attacking.
You mean it doesn't happen?
No. In Skyrim, it happens. Right?
D&D, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. In D&D, it doesn't happen.
They're just defeated. If you're on attack, it's just defeated.
Your Bastion defenders have like Batman launchers. And they
have insta kill from Call of Duty turned on.
They're sitting there launching nukes.
Insta kill.
You know what I mean?
Zombies.
Nothing happens. Maybe one of your defenders dies.
Yeah.
But it's okay. He'll respawn in 5 minutes.
He'll respawn.
A death timer just pops up in the air.
Yeah.
5. Wow. It's back. How was the afterlife?
Yeah.
Oh, I went to hell. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was there for 5 minutes.
I mean,
I had sat down. I had a drink. Now I'm back.
I mean, if you had a Bastion that made sense and it was like hell themed, right? You could totally like contract people's souls and have them as like eternal servants. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, you know? I feel like they had such
if you were more creative with it, you could do that. Like build a bastion in hell. Right. Start.
So you're saying strongholds and what was the book?
Strongholds and followers.
Yeah.
You're saying and kingdoms and warfare.
That one is like much more detailed.
Yeah. Way more detailed than this.
Okay.
Yeah. Way more detailed than this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then I'm gonna.
So if you're getting this just for bastions, I would just get that book instead, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a review on that one.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, we can. So, do you have any more?
No, nothing else to say about bastions. I didn't have.
What about the lore glossary?
I mean, it's just solid. I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's just little snippets about lore.
Yeah,
you know, for different things. It's interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you need to know about something specific, like a certain enemy or whatever, then you can look it up.
Yeah, honestly, like DMs are just going to read this, and it's just full of it's full of good information.
Well, and like you can just take those descriptions exactly and like kind of read them out to your party to establish the monster that you're
plug all this stuff into your own campaign.
Yeah,
into your own campaign world and like lore, right?
Yeah,
to make it like D&D, sort of more D&D accurate. Right, you could totally just plug a bunch of this stuff in, and it would seem like the same kind of setting.
Yep,
you know what I mean. In a lore.
Speaking of our own world, Tyler said the other day he doesn't know if we could do it, but I still want to get back to that world that is the size of the sun.
No, there's no way we can map it. That's what I'm saying.
Why
not? I think I calculated how much like square footage of like land we could map, and it's like more than we could ever even create. It's like we could, so it's like it's so big it's impossible. That's the thing. Like we could. I think we should do is when the Tome of World Building comes out, we should build a world with that book.
Yeah.
Right, and then go from.
Well,
there.
we still need to put our microscope world into a place. We've not done that. We've just like concepted it. Is all we've done. So like we need the actual world, which hopefully that
we could do that again and make it a little bit.
Yeah,
because that one was crazy. And I mean, we could do a more like basic.
Do you guys remember the microscope world?
I remember parts of it.
The one with the city.
Like there could be no cities except for there was one city.
No, there was only there was only three shields.
There was only three shields.
Yeah, it's an elemental world.
So
there's no natural light. I mean, no light. No,
that's what I'm saying.
Artificial light, only natural light.
That's what I'm saying. That one went kind of off the rails.
Yeah. But anyways, did you have anything else?
No, I mean the last part is just pre-generated maps, which are like I said earlier, like they're useful, like to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you need a map. Oh yeah.
There's also.
I mean, you can say what you were going to say.
There's also with the I think it's not the deck of stories. It's another deck, but it has a
something like that
terrain like dungeon maps already on little cards that you can just like shuffle together and you have a dungeon resource to use. That same company that made those has towns as well, cards. So like you can go and even draw a few towns from the deck and you have a city, you know, like
right. Okay, this is the book. So it doesn't sound like a D&D book, but it is. Okay. Staffortonshire Trading Company, Works of John Williams. The Works of John Williams. It's a book made by Lamentations of the Flame Princess, right? And it's full of useful maps. So if you're a DM and you're looking for maps for like any buildings at all or structures or anything, I would buy that book. It's called.
There's a lot of people on Etsy or other sites like that that have made like massive, like 300 plus map packs there too for like just, you know, handful of bucks.
So Shiler, I'm gonna I'm going to send you this link, and then can you link it?
Yes.
I'm going to text it to you. I'm going to text it to Shyler so that he can link it.
Yeah, the link to all the stuff that we're talking about will be in the description for all of the
We'll link
books,
the MCDM books. We'll link the Cubicle 7 book. We'll link, putting more work on Shyler. But we'll... all it is copying basic links.
I do that every time.
Okay, I'm going to send it to both of you. This is a link to the Lamentations of the Flame Princess website, but yeah. It's cool. It's full of maps. It's really nice.
Well, let's see. What do we have coming out soon? Do we have anything for December?
Yeah, I'm working on something.
Okay.
And then I mean, we have the pirate. We're gonna actually on the next episode we're going to revise the pirate.
Yeah, the base class, and then we've got additional subclasses.
So if you liked our pirate class or you want to see it better, right? Like if you have the class and you have ideas for improvements, comment.
Yeah, if you're one of the like 700 or 800 people that have it, then yeah.
If you like the class or you want to see some change, right? Comment, and maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that was back when we were just first getting into creating everything, and
that was one of the first
Metagames Press.
That was one of the first things we made.
Yeah, one of our first classes. Yep, and we commissioned my good buddy from school,
a guy from school. Yep. Anyways.
Yeah, I think that's it for now.
That was a big one
for a while.
Wasn't that a big episode?
Yeah. Right now we're at an hour and 27 minutes.
Wow.
But thanks everyone for watching. Once again, you can visit our website and see all our socials and all of the stuff we have that is not on DM's Guild, which you can go to. Also for more stuff, the pirate class is there. The Phantasm Warlock, it's also popular. The Cryomancer as well, and all of that. And we're going to be releasing new stuff coming soon on there for the pirate in terms of subclasses. And then also our Patreon that is getting new stuff every month. Not necessarily always going to be D&D specific.
Yeah.
But just pay attention to that because there's always some cool new stuff coming up. And the extended episodes of this of these podcast episodes. So like you're going to get an extra I don't know, probably like 15 minutes on this one, close to that.
And the free superhero generator.
Yeah, which will be updated next year.
Yep.
So, and Heroes and Hearts. One more thing, Heroes and Hearts is getting really close to being like alpha testable. So it's gonna be fun to do that. So I'm still shooting for in the beginning quarter of next year. It's probably not going to be immediately at the beginning of the year. It's going to be close to that.
Kickstarter.
You'll hear about the Kickstarter as well around then too. So keep an eye out for that. But thanks everyone for watching once again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.